America doesn't have a leadership shortage. America has decision cowardice crisis. Let me start with a statement that will make some people very uncomfortable. If you're paying attention, it's going to be about 8 to 10 minutes lecture, and I need you to pay attention. America doesn't have a leadership shortage, like I said earlier, but it suffers from decision cowardice. The reason I say this is because, you see, the rooms are full, the resumes are impressive, the titles are correct, be that as it may. When the moment demands a decision, real, costly, irreversible decision, too many leaders freeze. And history is unforgiving to frozen leaders. And leadership is not presence, leadership is choice under pressure. Listening across institutions, churches, clubs, universities, organizations, mosques, it's not lack of intelligence or talent, it is fear of consequence. You see, modern leaders delay, delegate, defer, commission, and outsource reports, not because the answer is unclear, but because the cost of choosing is personal. Now, here is the brutal truth. When leaders refuse to choose, the problem chooses for them. So what kind of a leader are you? And what decisions can you afford to make under pressure? What consequences quotient could you ever prepare for as a leader? If you're such a leader, by the time you take action, authority is already gone. These are the concepts that we must imbibe into leadership that will make drastic change, because the hallmark of leadership is to create creativity. In fact, Abraham Lincoln brutally said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. But every time you are confronted with the task to create, you must also create a consequence quotient. There has to be a measure of consequence expectation that you should prepare to deal with, because sometimes we don't even expect them to come. But that's not how life is. Whether you didn't plan for it, whether you planned for the exercise, you have got to prepare for consequences. There is nothing we do in our world, no matter where you are, whether you're middle level staff or leader or executive in governance, in politics, in the public place, that what you do will not also result in certain amount of consequences. So this is the part that we are lagging behind. Talk about the anatomy of decision cowardice, because some of you may be very disconnected from this concept, because we are many disguises, so to speak. Because number one, it calls itself being strategic. It calls itself waiting for more data. It calls itself building consensus. But in reality, it is fear dressed in professional language. Now, let me be precise. I said earlier that there are 3 moments every leader will face. Number 1, the moment they know the truth. Number 2, the moment the truth demands action. Number 3, the moment delay becomes betrayal. Now, every leader in my experience and leadership journey will fail at moment 2, and this is the reason. I said earlier that most leaders collapse at moment 2. Number 1, they know what must be done, they see the truth, and they hear the warnings. But they hesitate. Why? Because decisive leadership creates enemies. I hope you're one. I said because decisive leadership creates enemies. Because decisions have names attached to them. Because bold choices end careers before they create legacies. Leaders wait, but waiting feels safe until it becomes fatal. Where are you in your leadership journey today? Can we take it to the next level? Drop your thoughts. Let me reveal to you how institutions actually collapse, because institutions don't just collapse suddenly. All right? It must have been given some signs that you were not, cognizant of. So I want to share that in this presentation. Now, but before I go on, write this down. No organization dies from bad decisions or a bad decision, but they die from 1,000 unmade ones. Right? The problems are noticed early, but minimized. Warning signs are explained away. Whistleblower are ignored. And oftentimes these are the experiences we see. And these are the signs and pointers to a collapsing institution if they're ignored. Competence is sacrificed for loyalty. Politics replaces purpose. Write this down. And so by the time the crisis becomes public, authority has already evaporated. And so it's not like something that just happened. It has been happening, things have been happening, signals have been coming through, but there's been a terrible and traditional ignoring. You neglect it. If you keep neglecting these signs and warning signals, you're going to have a leadership institutions collapse. And weakest when the crisis becomes obvious. That's what happens in certain settings. So, and yet, that's exactly when cowardly leaders try to act. Oh, sorry, bro, it's too late. You saw the signs. You could read in between the lines, but you practically did not pay attention. Oh, the problems you get better. Ability to pay attention to details makes you a 101 leader. Don't say we'll handle it later. Being able to meet with situations and dealing with them, be proficient on the go, leadership on the go. Things don't just get ruptured under your leadership. Don't postpone it. Just find a way to deal with it, handle it, delegate it to somebody. It's not so that you don't, because the more it keeps prolonging, you're going to actually suffer from a dangerous leadership illusion. I'll explain if you're patient to listen to me. Listen to me. I love America. I love Donald Trump. He's my number one mentor when it comes to courage. Courage. When I read this book, The Art of the Deal, I think something like that. No, he wasn't even the president at the time. I just fell in love with him because I saw him as a real estate guru, a real estate juggernaut. He was something else. And today he's the president. And I love him. Still love him. I love him. And so earlier I talked about one dangerous, leadership illusion that America has, it suffers from. Because America believes leadership is about position, not decision. Now, if you want to find a man, want to match a man that not just talks, but acts the talk, acts the way he talks and thinks, is Donald Trump. Of all the presidents of the United States of America that I've studied in antiquity, present, just very recently, Donald Trump is my man. I'm not promoting him, but I see something in him that I think it's important. All of us must really need to know. In spite of the trepidation, in spite of the global warming and everything that's happening, insecurity in the Middle East and other parts of Africa, Nigeria, it moves into action. It's not afraid to see what happened in Venezuela. And so, but beside that, America has a dangerous leadership illusion. That leadership is about position, not decision. Trump is a person that decides and moves. As he decides, he moves in on it. He doesn't procrastinate. So you must learn from that man. I love him. You must learn. He doesn't talk. If he doesn't, Trump has never said anything that he hasn't done. No, he hasn't. Go and check or correct me. Are you hear what I'm saying? The things that you've not seen him do are the things he's planning to do now because he said that. Leadership is not about position. Leadership is decision. Napoleon Hill said, the major weakness of all educational system is the inability to teach the people the habit of definite decision. Is your decision definite? If it's yes, then you are a leader. You need to be emulated. I salute you. But if you're not, if you're under pressure, you chicken out, then you need to learn some concepts. You need to go back to the leadership school and learn some leadership principles. So leaders measure on optics, polling numbers, share prices, and etc. But that, so leaders focus on optics, and that's not how it should be. Share prices, polling numbers, social approval, and media circles, and that's not how it should be. That's not how it should be. Don't govern by reaction instead of conviction. All right? You don't govern by social approval. You don't govern by share prices, polling numbers, and of course media circles. You govern by conviction, because conviction can take you to prison. Conviction can keep you on a cause, and even if you perish, you perish. That's how conviction is. It happens several times. I don't want to bring references to you. Esther in the Holy Book, you say, here's the sad truth: leadership that depends on apples will always abandon responsibility. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And so when leaders begin to lead from the fear of backlash, they stop leading altogether. When leadership begins to lead from the fear or based upon the fear of backlash, they stop leading altogether. And that's a bad place to be. So your practices and operations, your decisions are driven by reactions based upon what people will say. Well, I don't know what they will say, and you chicken out. And sometimes to make them on the basis of what people say, you get opinionated. That's not our leadership. You need to have a strong courage to glide. So let me tell you about the cost of delayed decision. Every delayed decision compounds the cost. So what you should have used to settle the problem to handle these circumstances and challenges would have increased. It's like leaving your car at the wharf and then the demurrage increases. You pay more because you have taken some time to go handle it. These are the things. So this means that what could have been corrected early becomes expensive later. What could have been contained becomes systemic. And finally, what could have been solved becomes inherited by the next generation. You see the problem now. And the public senses this instinctively. That's why trust collapses for institutions. Where are you in your current leadership? I want you to talk back to me. People may not recognize policy, but understand cowardice once they see it. Are you that type of a leader? When leaders speak without choosing, they hear it when answers are evasive. And they see it when accountability is evasively. And once trust is gone, authority is theatrical at best. That's what you get. You can't even manufacture it. That's the way it is, because it's like garbage in, garbage out. What you bring to the table is what you get at the end of the day. You can't expect to get a different result. That's what leadership is all about. What you put in is what you get out. So lead with real leadership requires. Let me redefine leadership plainly. Leadership is the willingness to, number one, decide before you're fully ready. Write this down. Please write this down. Number two, leadership is the willingness to act before consensus is comfortable. Write this down. Write this down. And the last but not the least, leadership is the willingness to risk your position to preserve the mission. I'll take it again. Leadership is the willingness to risk your position to preserve the mission. So at all points in your leadership journey, what is most premium is the mission. Don't take your eyes away from the mission. The mission is the most motivational factor you must constantly frolic with. The moment you lose the mission, you are going to be living a life whose script has been written by a strange spirit. Leaders do not wait for perfect conditions. They create one from imperfect conditions. I tell it again. Great leaders do not wait for perfect conditions. They create one. They create these perfect conditions they don't wait for under imperfect. See now? Jesus said something that was very critical. He will wait for, but if you wait for perfect conditions, you're not going to, if you observe the wind, you're not going to sow, you're not going to reap, you're not going to get food for the family. But you don't look at the wind. Great leaders understand something modern leadership has forgotten. So great leadership has actually, so indecision is also a decision, and usually the worst one. You must not remember leaders who waited. It remembers leaders who chose. What do you choose to do under pressure? Hell no. America does not need more leaders. It only needs braver ones. Brave ones, like Donald Trump. That's what America needs. Because if you see a world power, you must be able to have people who have courage to be able to make decisions. Not just decisions, but they act their decisions. Whether they like it or not, Trump has. And so America does need leaders who understand that authority is earned in moments of discomfort, not applause. That's the kind of leader. Institutions don't fall because leaders decide wrongly. They fall because leaders refuse to decide at all. And when leadership abdicates choice, collapse is not choice. Collapse is not a possibility. It's a schedule. You must be very careful with these points I'm drawing out.
If you're tired of recycled opinions and hungry for leadership that actually thinks, subscribe and let's challenge weak thinking, confront hard truths, and build leaders who can decide, not delay. See you in the next one.